Hi, everybody. Welcome to Rocket Pitch. How are we doing? Awesome. Well, welcome to Rocket Pitch. If this is your first time or your regular, welcome. We're so happy to have you guys here. My name is Ella Hick, and I am one of the marketing student partners here at the Hub. So I help with the newsletter and I help with hosting here. It's a super fun job. So I'm really excited to kick off our third Rocket Pitch of the semester. In case you haven't gotten the chance yet, scan this QR code right here. This is how you get rewarded for being here. So your points add up. They can go towards getting swag. They can go towards getting snacks from our vending machine. And if you save up enough, you can actually get extended access to the hub, which is pretty cool. Plus, if you are the top point earner this semester, you get the lunch with President Rowe herself. So definitely scan that QR code. Take some time to do that. And then as soon as you do that, you'll be entered into our giveaway as well today. So we have a swag bag right over there filled with a t-shirt and some other cool goodies. So make sure you scan the QR code. All right. And so how many of you guys know kind of how Rocket Pitch works? Like a good majority of you guys? Okay. So each pitcher will have 4 minutes to pitch. So pitchers, remember that this is a competition. So we will cut you off once your time is up. We will have some signs right back there with Tracy. There's like a 1 minute and then a stop. So just make sure you're looking over there to see what sign she has up. Also make sure you cover the problem, the market, the competitive landscape, solution, and delivery during the pitches. After your pitch, you'll get 4 minutes with Q&A from the audience. So if you have a question, just raise your hand and we'll bring a mic to you, just so our Zoom viewers can hear the question as well. And lastly, don't forget you're competing for 800 engagement points at the Hub and a spot at William & Mary's Demo Day. So without further ado, let's get ready to rock it. First up, we will have our first pitcher, Andrew Sun, with his venture Dime.
All right. Hi, guys. I don't know if you see me the last time I pitched at Rocket Pitch, but my name is Andrew, and I'm going to be pitching Dime. Dime is an AI day planner, and let's see. Okay, so Dime is an AI day planner, and the problem that I had was that I originally attended NYU for my undergrad, and the problem going to NYU is that there's so many rich kids that you're surrounded by that are affording all these luxurious dates like omakase, stuff that you see in your Instagram feed that is really nice. But I myself, being a regular kid, wouldn't be able to afford that. So I would have a lot of trouble coming up with very affordable dates that were still going to be very fun for me and my partner. But eventually, after a lot of trial and error in dating, I was able to, kind of create an app that would kind of fit my own need of finding a date that would be affordable, that would be on budget, and would be exactly to the activities that I wanted to do. So, and it kind of worked out. So this past summer, I was able to meet my girlfriend that I'm still together with today. And yeah, we are really happy about using Dime. So again, the problem is that when you open up social media, the only great things that you're going to see for your, best food in New York City are going to be the really expensive, very pretty looking food that you can't probably afford. And it's kind of this disconnect of like us regular human beings and, maybe the top 10% of people that are affording really nice dates. So I feel like there's a gap in the market where Dime can create affordable date plans that people will actually use. And I also think there's a crisis in America right now of things being way too affordable. And the reason why Mayor Mondami was elected in New York City most recently, and how that was a big deal, was based on this affordability crisis that was going on in the entire nation, but especially in New York City and other major metro areas in the U.S. So how my app works is basically it's an iOS app and it already has your time and date. You input your location and you can choose a budget to your liking. And then in addition, you can choose the amount of date spots. And particularly if you want to go for maybe a food, activity, dessert, you can choose those type of activities and then refine those activities. For example, if I really want to go for Italian food, if I want to go bowling, and then finally get some cookies after. So let's see our date generation. So we're based in New York City and we have exactly the options that we're looking for. We can see some images, we can see ratings, we can see the location, and we also see other options at the bottom that we're able to select as well if you don't like the original options. And then upon date generation, we also have the ability to look at the weather. We can view the route on Google Maps, Apple Maps. We can save it to our favorite tabs in the middle, so we can reference them later. We can additionally share it to other people, and then we can also add it to our calendar. So what are like the solution, market, competition, and bottom line that we're looking at? The solution is that like day planning might take a lot of time. We all want to be great partners, great daters, but how do we have a solution that kind of makes it a lot more quicker to make a great day so we can focus our time on other things? And additionally, I want to focus on Gen Z and people that might not have the biggest budgets to spend on a date. And I want to use AI and the resources that we have today in order to learn about, like when you use Dime, I want people to have better date generations over time because of AI learning your preferences. In the market, there's currently Tinder and Hinge, great apps for matching with dates, but there's not that second step of planning dates. In the market right now, fewer and fewer young people are going out and are willing to date. 63% of people 18 to 29 are single. More people are spending their time online and not going out and dating. So yeah, sorry. So finally, at the end of the day, I think dating is one of the most rewarding skills that you can build in life. I think finding your life partner is, the most special thing that you'll have in this world. And I think, my AI date planner makes that one step that much easier for achieving something that's so fulfilling in life. Thank you.
So now we'll have a few minutes for Q&A, and we have this mic. So if you have a question, just raise your hand, and I'll bring this up for chat.
For my main primary question for user retention on this kind of app, would you be worried about, is there a consistency of events to stay just for trying to get users to stay past the initial dating stage? So let's say, you have a friend, nice, it went well, you use Dime, I'm not sure. Would you keep using Dime afterwards? That would, you would assume users would keep doing, and what if there's something other, or is this one of those things that once they leave, you have the question of, the hinges continue. So I found this very other. I no longer need this kind of app. I don't find this kind of thing because it's been organized already.
Yeah, I think in terms of user retention, in my own experience, so I met my girlfriend, we went from like first dates to dating to this day. And I think actually, first dates are really hard to plan. I think also when you've been in a relationship for a while, it gets harder to plan as interesting dates because you've already like been to so many things in the same city together. So I actually think with my current experience, like Dime has been the most useful for curating dates when you're in an established relationship, because then it's at that point you guys already know each other, like you don't have to like come up with something exciting as like a new dater. So I think actually like mature couples is actually where Dime shines.
Questions? No.
Is there a liability if you track the wrong type of person? How do you handle the liability if you track the wrong type of person and there's a problem there?
If you attract the wrong person, I don't understand.
If the wrong type of person comes into your organization through your software, is there a liability?
What is the example of like wrong type of person? I don't think I understand your question.
Type of person that's there for vague reasons, not a good person. I don't know how to strengthen the market.
Could maybe someone else help me clarify? Sorry, I don't think I quite understand.
Yes.
I think there's some confusion about it being a matchmaking app rather than helping you find places to go.
Okay. I'm trying to clarify that this is not a matchmaking app. It's a date planner. So, assume you already done the hard work of getting someone to agree to hang out with you. What do you actually do to get, like, what would you actually do on the date? This helps you plan the date, not like matchmaking. Does that clarify anything? Yeah? Okay. Thank you.
I guess, yeah.
after the date, do you have a way to rate whether it's a good spot for a date so other people can go, yeah, it's a great restaurant, lousy place for dates, so no, it's.
Yeah, so with the same tab that we have now, I want people to be able to rate the date plan and share with other, very much like a social media feature.
Could you talk a little bit more about your revenue model? How does this make money? How does it become sustainable?
Yeah, so I want to operate this app as a subscription as a service. So after a free trial of 30 days, we would set a $10 paywall.
Would there be different levels of that? Like, or is it just flat $10? That's the
It'd be a flat $10.
This is more of an idea than a question, but that sparked me an idea. So you have Hinge, Match, Harmony, all these platforms, right?
Yeah.
I could see a revenue engine in which you pitch to them. Once people get matched, your service says, here's some place that you can go on a date, given your interest and given the data set. So now you're selling to Match or Harmony or Hinge or whatever platform it is. That's one. And then another one could be for older generations, right? So people who have families and don't have time to think about dates and all that. This could set some parameters, maybe date night with kids or family friendly. That's a different revenue engine that could also be subscription based. Just some things to consider.
Those are two great ideas, and they were brought up last time as well. Like definitely something like Hinge or Tinder would love to license out or buy out some type of software like this. In addition, in pitching last week, the last rocket pitch, I spoke with some folks who are married, and they've been together for so long where it might get harder to plan a very interesting day, and especially the way you're saying with like kids. I think because my own expertise, my own experience in dating as a young person in New York City, I know it's a different segment, so I'm definitely opening to in the future business partnering with those older people and what their type of preferences are for dating as like a married couple with kids, like you said.
Hey, thank you for pitching today. My question is, what is your rollout plan? Like you mentioned New York City. I know that's where you're familiar. Would it work somewhere small like Williamsburg? Could you see partnering with tourism and or chamber of commerces to really highlight those local businesses instead of chains? Like, do you have plans for that?
Yeah, that is a great thing. Again, based on my own experience, I want to focus on a market where I can easily test my app very quickly in the densest city in the world. But to places where I'm at, like Williamsburg right now, I know there's a bunch of like great local events that you can't just search on Google Maps. You need to hear from a friend of a friend type thing. And I really want to focus on highlighting small businesses and partnering them. And instead of having my first page being like a search, I want to have it more like recommendations off the bat that's highlighting small businesses so they get more attention.
So one quick question I actually wanted to ask on this for the subscription model. I know that seems to be what the primary goal is, but for something like this, I guess it's two-part technically. Would a free model with an option for subscription or something more specialized, perhaps certain I don't want to say specifying down things because as a user, that's always the worst thing is when you want to sign up for that. It's like, oh yes, every basic feature is locked behind $10. But would there not be some idea for maybe a freer intro to borrowing subscription model to the app and then something that was appropriate for ads later? The secondary question of that, would there be any question for partnership or not to accidentally encourage you to dare to buy a Ticketmaster, but with some sort of scheduling or setup program with companies like this, you speak to smaller events that are hard to attend, and whether it's that the method of buying tickets is difficult or reserving a table for the events and perhaps sort of something like that. But that's infinitely more involved than perhaps training.
To your first question, I personally don't really believe in like freemium. I feel like you should just have that set fee and then be able to use all the functionality that you're able to use. And then in terms of your second question, there are so many different services that also plan specific things. For example, Ticketmaster for those live events, or there's Resi for like restaurant reservations that are really great places, especially in New York, right? And eventually, I want to be able to integrate, maybe partner. I'm not 100% sure how that will look in the future, but like I would like to work with these type of companies so that off my app, you're able to access those. If it is just accessing the websites or a partnership, that like there's an easy flow from my app to buying your ticket or setting up that reservation, so it's almost seamless for my generation update.
All the way.
Okay, wait, I had another idea that you might be able to generate even more revenue. So even on the free version, I know like TikTok, Instagram, even ChatGPT, like every few scrolls or prompts will be like an ad. So maybe you could have like a tiny ad at the corner of the screen, or maybe like every time you scroll past a few dates, an ad appears and the person has to watch like 10 seconds. I think that's an easy way to get some extra revenue on this.
That's a good idea. Honestly, like haven't thought of the realm of ads at all, because like I feel like seeing a pop-up, like whenever I experience an ad with a pop-up, it is a little bit annoying. I think it would be better to, instead of using advertising revenue to generate money, I would like directly, do like a more like Google SEO type of thing, where like if I was able to partner with your business, I would recommend that restaurant a lot more first.
So my question, you cataloged my question when you had the slide that said there's really nobody in that competitive space that's doing something like this. That usually is one that's going to get me to then try to find the competitor. And I didn't find like an app that seems like this, but how do you compete against just using ChatGPT or pick your favorite AI tool where you just describe the thing that you're trying to accomplish and where you're trying to do it, and then it serves back up ideas like this? Like, what is your sort of differentiation that keeps people coming to you versus using these other tools that they might already be subscribed to?
That's a great question. And exactly what you're saying, using ChatGPT, I've gotten feedback that my app is a lot like a Google Maps wrapper. And the way that I want to differentiate from that is that, I really want to focus on curating dates for one city at a time. For example, right now, I really want to focus on New York. And with apps like Eventbrite and Particle, really focusing on like local events that you can't just search up like online. I want to have my main tab not be the generation again, but be like a recommendation. It's almost like an Instagram where you can scroll and you can see, okay, this date itinerary, like 36 people went to, they rated it 5 stars, and it's more for like a chill, like local music type of vibe in like Brooklyn or something like that. I think, when the expertise is very specific, I think that's what's going to make people use my app versus others.
Cool. Good idea.
All right, and I think that was our last question. So thank you so much, Andrew. Let's give him one more round of applause. Next up, we have Francesca Donalicio with her venture yeah. Get your spot. Let's give her a round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Francesca Donalicio, and today I'll be presenting my venture, iGive. Before I get into what exactly iGive is, I wanted to share how it all started. So, about a year ago, my freshman year, spring break, I went to Honduras for a medical mission trip. The experience was incredible, but what really stood out to me was the optometry station. As someone who doesn't wear glasses, I've never really realized how essential they are. For a majority of the people there, it was their first time being able to see clearly. which means it was their first time being able to fully participate in work, school, and life. That got me wondering, what about here? Once I got back, I spoke with school nurses and got in contact with the health services supervisor to learn more about the systems here. What surprised me the most is that I found that the issue wasn't getting these glasses or replacing them. Once students either lost or broke their glasses, there weren't really any resources out there to help them. This matters because around 1 in 4 students need vision correction. Without glasses, they fall behind, not because they can't learn, but because they don't have the glasses to be able to see. The system works until it doesn't. Currently, insurances like Medicaid and nonprofits like Lions Club and VSP help with initial access. But afterwards, replacement is limited or not covered. So, when students lose or break their glasses, they fall through the cracks. That's where iGive comes in. iGive is a nonprofit that fully funds immediate replacement glasses to these students through a school referral system. Our model is funded by donors, grants, and community partners so that schools and families pay nothing. Around $100 supports a student for a pair of glasses. Originally, our model was around donations, where we collected nearly 3,000 glasses and redistributed over half to student orgs. While we figured out that model wasn't as sustainable, we switched to this new model, where we have validated this need across public schools. We've secured a partnership with the district health supervisor, and we've raised $1,000 and $500 in early funding. Within the next month, we'll launch our pilot at one partner school to prove that this model works and to support the first set of students. Within a year, we'll expand locally to support more students. And within 2 to 3 years, our long-term goal is to create a model that can be implemented at other universities to expand to school systems across the US. No student should fall behind because they can't see. iGive builds a system to ensure that they don't. If you'd like to help as we launch our first pilot, I'd love to connect, whether it is through mentorship, partnership, or funding. Thank you.
That was awesome. Now we're going to have the time for questions. So just like last time, I'll start over here. We'll get right over.
Fantastic. I always like to see students set up organizations at Yale. So the question is the target population students in universities or students at the school systems?
Yeah, so it will be a great question. It's K-12 and not university students. However, university students will be the ones that implement this chapter at their school to then support K-12 students.
Sure.
Thank you.
Hey, so great presentation.
Thank you.
So do you have like any other plans for like revenue model, like apart from like donations and contributions from like some partners, like any other plans, like maybe selling some, low cost glasses that are also like, augmented by the donations, like to help offset the cost?
Yeah. Idea that we had for the future that we haven't really established currently is going to second Sundays and building something that we could sell and build revenue from that. So that's a great question.
Yeah, hi, interesting presentation. Do you support both short-sighted and far-sighted students? And how do you assess the prescription strengths that they need in order to at least become close to satisfying their needs?
Yeah, so through through insurance like Medicaid, or if they don't have insurance, nonprofits like Lions Club and VSP will provide the initial exam and initial prescription glasses. So typically they'll already have the prescription, and we would support both short-sighted and far-sighted. And with the prescriptions already set, they would just have to go to the optometrist to get a replacement of the prescription there. Since insurance and nonprofits cover the prescription side of things, we want to cover the resource side of things if they lose or break those glasses.
Hi, fantastic presentation. Why is it $100 per student? So there's online glass shops that will, or eyeglass shops that will sell glasses for less than $40 with the basic insurance.
Yeah, so that's an estimate. I actually have a slide over here that goes about around how much it could cost. And our goal ultimately is to partner with an optometrist rather than an online retailer, just so that it's more locally, more personal, and that we can also build connections with the optometrist and work potentially deals with the optometrist there to make it as affordable and efficient as possible. So that's just an estimate for now.
Any other questions? Going once, going twice? All right, great job.
Thank you.
Do I unmute and ask the question, and are you able to hear me?
All right, so now we are heading into our time of voting. So once again, scan the QR code. And note that we had 2 presenters today. So for slots 3 and 4, just leave those blank or fill in the 0. Just make sure you're voting for 1 and 2. And then also, we will be announcing our giveaway in just a minute. So stay tuned. All right, and now to congratulate our giveaway winner today, Abraham. Bring back. Woohoo! You get up before. Congrats. So it looks like we have a pretty close tie. So make sure that you voted. We'll need every single vote for this one. All right, everybody, we have our results. So this was one of the closest rocket pitches we have ever had. It came down to the wire. So can we get a drum roll? All right, the winner is Andrew. All right, thank you so much, everybody. Up on the screen, if this piqued your interest and you're like, hey, I have an idea, or I have a business I want to test, scan this QR code. We have another rocket pitch before demo day. So make sure you take a look at this, get some pizza, get some sodas, and we'll see you guys next week. Have a great weekend.